Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called The Heart of Community, Celebrating Our Connections. So let's start with saying good morning.
Good morning.
That was great. Good morning, Kathy. It's springtime. We survived another winter in Boston. That alone is worth celebrating. I know it's really, really cold out there today, and thank you for coming, even though it's so cold. But from here on out, it will get lighter and it will get warmer, and soon enough, we'll be sitting on the beach. And I'm looking forward to it. Yay! Hooray. So we've got lots to celebrate today. I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Trilligator. My pronouns are she and hers, and I'm the minister of this vibrant, caring community where we are centered in love and focused on our UU values. If you're joining us for the first time, we have a greeter here every Sunday to answer any questions you might have. Today she's wearing a yellow stole. She does that, there she is. Today it's Nancy Nichols. If you have any questions, please ask Nancy. She can help you. And also thank you to Nancy, and thank you to today's usher, who is Michael, and to our coffee hour hosts, Garen and Gloria. Thanks so much. Speaking of thank yous, a special thank you to Rhea and Chuck, who escorted our youth group to City Reach on Friday, staying over till Saturday on a hard floor. Thank you very much. Yes, they do deserve plenty of applause. There, the kids met and learned from and facilitated our donations to people impacted by homelessness in Boston. So it was a very important learning experience for everyone. Thank you very much. A few announcements. In coffee hour today, there will be 2 extra tables. Your equal exchange is all set out, so please feel free to buy chocolate and coffee. There'll be a table about UU Mass Action's upcoming Advocacy Day on Beacon Hill. That's really important, so stop by there. On March 30th, which is next Sunday, the men will be away on retreat, but here at church, life will go on. In the afternoon next week, we will host a new group, a new local extension of Extinction Rebellion here in church from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. So if you've been interested in XR and climate activism, please feel welcome to join. In early April, we will have 2 memorial services here in church, one for Carol Newell and the other for Mary Beth Santarelli. I hope you have them on your calendar. On April 5th, we're hosting a film and a discussion about disability rights led by our fellowship group. Mark your calendars for that too. We've got lots going on here, and I'm proud of all of our energy. We also have a special meeting coming up, and Gretchen, our clerk, wants to tell you more about that this morning. Gretchen, please come forward.
Good morning. I'm Gretchen Locke. I'm the clerk of the congregation, and this is an announcement of a special meeting coming up. A special meeting of the church will be held on April 6th, 2025, in the sanctuary immediately following the service to discuss proposed changes to MUUC's bylaws. This is the second of 2 meetings required to change the bylaws. We plan to vote on the first 2 groups of proposed changes that we discussed at the March 6th meeting. That is the editorial and terminology changes and the changes to align our bylaws with our practices. We'll have further discussion of options for our senior leadership structure that we started during that last meeting and plans for how to move forward, but we will not hold a vote on that topic at this second meeting. Please see posters and new and updated materials around the building and in the midweek update for further information and links. There's also copies of the handouts on the bulletin board out in Parish Hall if you want to take a look at those. There's a few extra copies there if you want to take a look here in the building, or you can see them on the members page as well. You can contact me or Liz Fulser if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.
Today is a very special Sunday. You may have noticed some extra decorations. Today is Celebration Sunday. It's the time every year when we celebrate the culmination of our annual pledge drive. It is a time to celebrate promises made and promises kept. If you have a pledge form to hand in today, I'm going to invite you to come forward during the opening hymn and place it here in this basket. To kick off our big ceremony today, I want to invite forward the very last of our pledge drive testimonials. It's very special today. It's from a youth Allison Feldman. Allison, please come forward.
Hi. Hello. So, when I started writing this, I was very confused. I could think of a million reasons why this church is awesome, of course, but I had no idea how to write about anything personal. I figured people would want me to talk about what I did in RE, but I struggled to find particularly meaningful memories. Making blanket forts? No. Walking through labyrinths made of blue tape? No. Meditating over raisins? Definitely not. Then my mom asked me a really good question. Why do I come here every Sunday even though my parents never make me? And then I realized I come here for the community, for my friends in RE, for the wonderful grown-ups who have always known my name even though I always forget theirs, and for the MUUC Climate Action Team meetings. This church has always been a safe place to just be myself, learn, grow, talk to other like-minded people, and yes, meditate with raisins. Yes, very fun. I have gained so much from being part of this church, a community, good experiences, friendships, and many meaningful discussions that do not have to be about God. Sometimes I wake up thinking, church? What? I have to actually talk to people? But when I leave, I usually feel energized, excited, supported, and sometimes very exhausted from the chaos of RE. But overall, I keep coming back here because when life and the government get me down, there is always and hopefully always will be a group of people who go through the same challenges and who are ready to talk to each other about how to fix them, or just laugh and pretend like it's not all happening, which sometimes helps too. In conclusion, I've always enjoyed being part of this church. I will always remember the fun times I had here in RE and the many gatherings and fun outings I went to here. As I go forward in life, I will always remember this community, and I hope you will too. And please join the MUUC Climate Action Team. We are always looking for new members to discuss and plan with. This team is very important to me as a place where I get to discuss some of the world's most important problems and what we can do about them, while hopefully also eating chocolate. So please come to our meetings once a month. Thanks.
Thank you, Allison. So let's get started today. If you would like to follow along with our electronic order of service, there's a QR code here. You just hold up your phone and your camera will take you to a link, or you can go to our homepage at melroseuu.com and click on the worship button and scroll down. So let us have a good look now at our beloved community. Turn around and look at the beautiful faces all around you. Say hi to one another. Good morning. Thank you for coming to church. Happy Celebration Sunday. Wonderful. I call us to worship now. Like a birthday or an anniversary, once a year we take a Sunday to celebrate us, to celebrate that we have worked and planned and created together one more year of church. And moreover, we have decided individually and together once again to pledge, to promise ourselves and each other another year moving forward, working together, come what may. It is a moment to pause, to pray, to remember, to rejoice. Let us celebrate today our pledges, our promises, the bonds that connect us, the relationships we spin and weave across the pews, across the years, across our lives. Let this be the moment that connects past with future, yesterday with tomorrow, you with me, us with each other, this community with its hopes and its dreams. Let this be the moment that connects this love that we feel and we feed and know to be real with a world that needs us and all of us to be whole. Amen. Come and let us worship together. Now we light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. Here to light ours for us this morning are our RE kids. They will lead us in the chalice lighting that they use downstairs in their classroom every Sunday. Please come forward.
We are Unitarian Universalists. We are the Church of the Open Mind, the Loving Hearts, and Helping Hands. Together we care for our earth, work for friendship, and peace in our time.
Please remain standing if you would and join in our opening hymn. You guys can go back down. Thanks so much. Our opening hymn, which is 361 in the gray hymnal. The words will appear up here on the screen. Enter, rejoice, and come in. And if you have a pledge form to hand in today, please bring it forward during the hymn. Kathy and Wendy, please come forward to receive them. Thank you. You may be seated. And thanks to our ribbon dancers in the front row.
Good morning. Our story today is The Invisible Web by Patrice Kars, illustrated by Joan Lou Rithoff. If you'd like to be a little closer to see the screen better, you can do that, but if you're happy where you are, keep being where you are. The very best news has begun to spread all over the world. Can you believe it? One heart at a time. Shout it from the mountaintops. Every single one of us is connected to those we love by invisible strings. That means Giovanna and her daddy are always together, even though he moved to a new house. Omar can feel the tugs of love from his parents, even though he is living far away from school. Mr. Chang still feels Mrs. Chang close by, even though she died a very long time ago. And at this moment, you may feel the string of someone close to you, even though they aren't here. You can't see it, but it's real. Our strings reach out to everyone we know. They travel far and wide to families and friends, classmates and coaches, to bus drivers and babysitters, neighbors and pets, to aunts and uncles and grandparents and grandchildren and countless other people. And all of those people, guess what? They have hundreds of strings, soaring high over rocky peaks and across the 7 seas, deep into jungles and valleys, and winding through the busiest of cities. All of these strings crisscross one another and create a nest that covers the planet, interlacing us all together. Ooh. My apologies. Cradling us forever. The invisible web. The web has no borders and wraps around every continent. Within it lives butterflies and flowers, starfish and seahorses, lions and ants, the animal, not the family member, rivers and snowstorms, and all human beings. Giovanna, Omar, Mr. Chang, and of course, you and me too. Some say it even reaches to our ancestors and those we cherish in the beyond. One tug on a string sends love to every one of us, even over together in this divine tapestry, and that means just one good deed travels across the entire web. Every single thing is linked. But sometimes folks forget. When they can't feel their strings, they forget about our invisible web. And that's when the string gets all tangled up. Like when lonely Luisa isn't invited to sit with anyone at her school at lunchtime. Or when sad Stefano wishes his friend Marco wasn't so bossy when they played. Or when Mrs. Patel struggles at work without help and she just wants to quit. Even violence and war can erupt when too many of us forget about the web. When strings are ignored, they become weak and begin to unravel. But the more people who care for the web, the stronger it remains. And I'm going to pause here really quick in this middle of the story because I want us to make our web stronger. So a few weeks ago, you might remember, I had you all make chains of yarn. And I want to ask you to do that again, but a little differently. And it'll be, the yarn is on the part of your pew facing into the aisle. And this time, what I'm going to ask you to do is take one piece of string, make a loop and tie it to the person next to you, but not just next to you this time, behind you. And I want to see if by the end of the story, we're connected across the entire sanctuary. One giant chain. Okay, so you take the string, you make a loop, you make a little circle, you go to the person next to you. The person next to you loops it on to yours. For example, these are the chains we did a few weeks ago. So if this visual helps. And then you'll go behind you, and then the next pew will go behind them, and behind them, and behind them, until they're across to the pews on the other side, and it's all connected. Does that make sense? No? Visual of the chain you're trying to make. Yeah. And you can always ask your neighbor for help. So here, for example, if I had this chain and I was behind Reverend Suzanne, if she had a chain, would connect her chain to mine. And then if I went back over here, and Will had a chain to connect to mine, he would connect it, and so on and so forth. And then when we get to the very act of connecting, you will connect across the pews until everyone's chain is connected. Yeah. Yes, only one person needs to make the loop so you can connect to your neighbor's loop. Yeah. You can also just tie them together without looping it. It is about representing the connection. I just want us to get all connected across the sanctuary this morning. Loops or no loops. Yeah. Okay, as you're doing this, I want to keep telling the story, okay? Are we ready? Okay, let's get back to the story. The web feels like every parent since the beginning of time, holding and protecting each of us in millions of gentle arms. What can be stronger than all those hands holding us close? So many supportive fingers can always find a way to untangle strings that love can flow again. But it's up to every one of us to spread the word. As we tell our families and friends, sisters will remind brothers, who will write to cousins, who will call their great-grandparents, who will just nod and smile as if they had always known. If we remember the web and tug at it often, nobody will ever be left out. We will see each other more clearly. The people of the world will look into each other's eyes. They will smile at one another. And when one of them cries, they will all want to help. And they do. Marcos apologizes to Stefano, who forgives his friend, and they have even more fun playing. Someone helps Mrs. Patel at work and tells her what a great job she's doing. She remembers that she's important and feels happy. And Luisa feels warm and bubbly inside when a few of the kids in class asked her to join them under the banyan tree for lunch. She knows right then and there that the invisible web is real. After school, Luisa cries with joy as she strokes her cat, who purrs the news to the stars, and the stars whisper the secret to the clouds, who share it with the songbirds, who serenade the world with this exquisite melody of love at the start of each morning and all during the day, until as the invisible web glitters in the magic of twilight, the owl takes over and hoots the news through the night. The invisible web is alive. Its time is right now. It breathes as we breathe, pulsating all over our earth, the single heartbeat of life and love. And do you know what that makes us all? One very big family. That's where our story ends. Now, I have some things I will say in a second, but I'm curious, what were things you noticed about the story, other than the chaos of making our web visible? Was there anything that stuck out to y'all? Spelling errors? Was there anything else that stuck out? Have y'all experienced the invisible web? No? Have you ever felt cared for someone, even from someone, even though you may not know them? Or have you ever cared about someone you may not know super well? No? Well, I have. I have, and I know that reminds me that the web is real. And maybe you haven't had that experience yet, right? Lives move at different speeds and there's different experiences. But I know there's times where one of my parents' friends would call as a kid and they would be like, "How's Rhea doing?" Right? And I knew they cared about me. And that's part of the invisible web. Or there's been times when I've seen a piece of news and I'm like, I worry about this person I've never met. And that's the invisible web coming to life. Right? Any other final thoughts on this book before we move on? Or is it a lot of no's this morning? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Transferred positions. Now, we are now at a point where our web is all connected through that messy process that maybe I could have planned a little better, but thank y'all for sticking along with it. Now, if you are able and would like to stand, I encourage you to do that while holding onto your part of the web. No, you lost your connection. And if you're in a part where you don't have hold of web, maybe walk over to the web and you can take part of it and hold it. Okay, everyone in position? Now, if you can, and you might not be able to, so imagine it, bring your piece close to your heart. Do you notice the tug of someone else as they lifted theirs to their heart too? Now, I want you to give your part of the chain the smallest of tugs, not so strong it breaks, but just a little enough so other people can feel it. So a tiny little tug. Do you feel the connection of someone across the room? Someone you're not in the same pew of, someone you're not sit with, someone you maybe don't talk to every Sunday. You are connected to every person here. Whether it's your first time meeting or 100th time being here, you are connected. We build our communities, nurture our webs, and sometimes we have moments where the web becomes visible through co-creation, which can be a little messy. You now may sit if you would like. For this giant chain, and we'll have to think about this, I want it to get wrapped up kind of like you would a garden hose around your elbow, and you can bring it up to the table. Now, if that doesn't necessarily work, I invite you to innovation. All right, thank you all. It's beautiful. And now you can sit if you like, you can bring that giant chain up to the table. Thank you for doing this messy, co-creative moment. That is one of the ways our webs takes place, through the giggles and the mistakes and the doing it together, right? Now, let's get back to that mention of co-creation. One of the beautiful parts of our church is that it is not just one person in creating the vision of what this community is and can be, but all of us together are. And it's not a single layered thing. Our connections and relationships are always evolving and changing. And so to recognize that, and not in the same way, much more calm. If you have leftover yarn, you can make some chains throughout the service as an activity for yourself, or maybe tie string together. If you're out of yarn, when I'm back in my seat, you could come see me and I'd be happy to give you some. But help us create that reminder that we are always connecting in new ways, always growing together, and beginning anew each time we come together. These chains don't have to connect across the whole room, like I said this time. But later in the service, all of these chains will come together, showing our shared connections. I think being able to recognize our shared connections is part of the beauty of the invisible web. When we stop and think about it, we begin to really notice it. At least I do. I wonder if it's the same for you. You are connected to all of the earth, from the animals to the flowers to the people you have never met. But also the web you can see and feel the most immediately is in places where you choose to be vulnerable, to share space together and be together. This is a space we have chosen to come together in, to be with each other in joy and in sorrow, in celebration and stillness, and all the things that happen in life. We choose to be together, and that is beautiful. It is beautiful that we are web weavers. So continue. Continue to weave webs, both in the sense of making chains, but also in the ways you care for one another and come into the space. We are the co-creators of the now.
Every Sunday, in the middle of our service, we take time out for quiet and meditation. So let's begin that time now by feeling into our bodies, letting ourselves settle into our seats, feeling our feet on the floor and our connection to the earth, relaxing, breathing deeply, connecting with our inner selves and our highest ideals. In this time of meditation and prayer, first we'll join in our centering song, then we'll sit for a shorter time of shared quiet this morning, then we'll speak to one another of our joys and sorrows, and I will lead us in a prayer. Our worship theme for March is generosity, and our centering song for the month is Make Channels for the Streams of Love, which is $2.99 in the gray hymnal. Please remain seated and join in the song as you like, letting it guide you gently into our time of shared quiet. Every Sunday in our service, we share with one another our joys and sorrows, the personal milestones of our lives. We share and we listen to one another with great care so that the sharing helps us get to know one another and become better companions on this journey of life and knits us together in an ever stronger community. So I invite anyone who has a sorrow to share this morning to please come forward to speak from the microphone so everyone can hear you and see you. I invite people on Zoom to go ahead and type into the chat box, and I will read any sorrow you have to share aloud. Do we have any other joys this morning? I don't see any joys in our Zoom room. Anybody else would like to share? All right, Michael, if you would please light the other candle as a symbol of all the joys that we have shared and those that remain quietly in our hearts this morning. Let the candle be for us a reminder to feel grateful and to express gratitude for all the many, many blessings in our lives. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Like the proverbial butterfly's wings, our actions, our movements, our thoughts touch those around us, ripple out from us to impact the whole world. We are all already connected. The air we breathe has been breathed before by everyone else. The food we eat has been food before. The cells of our bodies are made from water that has flowed around the world and from atoms that came from stars, atoms that have existed since the dawn of time. We are connected to trees and mushrooms and sunflowers and coral and blue whales. We are connected to Jupiter and Saturn and to one another in an invisible web. We build that web, we honor that flow, we strengthen those ties with kindness, with beauty, with intention, with smiles, coffee, handshakes, pledges, protests, potlucks, committee meetings, songs, music, artwork, casseroles, affection, attention, emails. How are you? I missed you. I love you. Here in this space, in this hour, and through the week, we build the web again and again and again. We build a web of relationship that holds us, that heals us, that helps us to go out and love the world again and again and again. As we build the web, so we build the world as it can be, as it should be, as it will be. Amen.
Our church is self-funded, supported by your generous annual pledge. You may also give to our weekly collection, which we split every month with a worthy group via our Giving Beyond Our Walls program. Remote folks can donate using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. March is the month of Music Sunday, and so our choir has decided that half of our collection plate this month will go to Apple Tree Arts. This is a nonprofit community music school in Grafton, Mass., where I serve as music director. Apple Tree's early childhood music program provides classes in underserved communities free of charge. Proceeds from this collection will go directly to support music classes for the Head Start programs in Webster and Southbridge, Mass. For Celebration Sunday, we're going to do a piece called A New City of Joy.
Thank you, choir. That was really fun. Thank you. Now, Rhea and I and the pledge team would like to invite you into a ritual that will celebrate our connections with one another. We're going to take all those long chains that we've been making, and we're going to string them across this heart and make a string art, piece of art, and we're going to fill it with color and with life. In just a moment, as we sing a beautiful song, I'm going to invite you to come forward, up the center aisle, back down the sides, maybe 3 or 4 at a time, and take the strings and the yarn, and we're just going to tie it onto the sides and string it across in whatever random patterns we want, and it will come to symbolize all of our connections together. And while we do that, we're going to sing a beautiful song. And I'm inviting you to do this, singing the song, and as you wait and as you weave, I invite you to focus on the feeling of loving kindness for yourself, for this congregation, and for the world, and infuse that into our artwork. Thank you. Would you play for us, please? Thank you. Rhea, is there any way that you could hold it up just so people could see it quickly? I know it's still in process, it's connected. But look what we made.
I got Fox in my bolo tie.
That's really cool. We're going to keep adding to it and adding more colors. You can work on it in coffee hour today and maybe next week too. And when it's all ready, when we've decided that it's full enough, we are going to add it to, drum roll please, our brand new huge artwork. This is the UUA Values Flower. It's 8 feet by 8 feet. It was made by Rhea and Michelle DeVoe. Thank you so much. And it was hung already in Parish Hall by David and Paul. Thank you for hanging it. And as you can see, there's a little heart outline there, and that's where this is going to live. And so the idea of it is that all of our relationships and our deep connections with one another is what give us the strength and form the heart of our community. And that gives us the courage to go out in the world and to live out our UU values like transformation, pluralism, generosity, interdependence, equity, and justice. I think it's really lovely, and I'm really happy that we have this new artwork to celebrate our values in Parish Hall. So thanks to everybody who was part of it. And I love how clearly it shows that our love for each other and our layered relationships make us who we are and help us to live out our UU values. Let me just say, may the love that we weave here today connect us through the week and through the year. Let us build here and again a web of relationships that holds us, that heals us, that helps us build the world as it can be. Now, before we just close up with our final hymn, I want to call forward Wendy and Kathy, who have a special announcement. They've been busy counting those last pledges, and now we have a semi-final total to share with everyone.
We have received $157,789 from 59 pledge household. Oh, sorry. That's okay. From 59 pledge households. The total is $157,789. It's a lot to accomplish in a 3-week pledge. Thank you to everyone. It's definitely something to celebrate.
Yay! And now it'll be a little loud, but.
Thank you, Kathy and Wendy. Once a year, it's okay to make a mess. That's what I say. Our service has ended. Please enjoy a brief postlude from Tom before gathering in Parish Hall for a special cake reception today. Our closing hymn, that's right. Oh my goodness gracious. Please stand as you are willing and able in body and in spirit in our final hymn. We are building a new way, number 1017 in the teal hymnal. Join with me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you. Thank you so much for Celebration Sunday. Now you may be seated and enjoy this brief postlude from Tom, and then come and have some cake and coffee hour. Thank you so much.